Good morning.
Morning, everybody. How you doing?
We're sitting here talking ammo. I had to shut up real quick because it was like, yeah, we're talking guns. Can you imagine that? And then look who we have on as a guest. We happen to be talking to guns, and this guy blows everything up. Yeah, look at that right there. He's in the snake room with a gun. I mean, is that crazy or what? So, okay, Chris. So what's on the shirt this week?
What's on the shirt this week? Oh, well, this is a fun one. So, I just got this shirt. This is the first time I've worn it, but it is, you remember the movie Ford versus Ferrari, right? That we all loved recently. So this is the car that should have won Le Mans in 1966. That was driven by Ken Miles. So it's the number one GT40 Mark II. So there you go.
Yeah. That's a cool car. I just rewatched that movie, and wow. I mean, I would suggest if you guys have seen it, watch it a second time because you get a lot more out of it of what those guys went through. And, we need those guys back, to kind of unpussify, some of the people. I'm not even going to say the current generation because it's not. I just refused that. So, hey, welcome everybody. Renny Doyle Podcast brought to you by PNS Double Black Products. Chris, we got somebody cool on the program today. So
we sure do. It's Billy. Is it Billy? Correct? Am I right? Is it Baugus? Is that the way to pronounce it right?
That's it. You got it.
Okay, I thought so. So Billy Baugus, and just in case you guys all don't know, Billy is he's a veteran of the detailing industry. He's a proud American Patriot. He started detailing as a teenager, and in his early 20s, he was a weekend warrior. He was detailing cars while he was in the Marines, I think, and he did it for other Marines. And then in the early 2000s, he took his passion to a new level. He eventually opened up his own detailing business, and that's trending into today. He's the American Detail Garage, which is a line of products that has kind of a cult following, I should say, if that's the right way to say it. And he loves to share his passion and teach other detailers his processes of efficiency and simplicity while developing better products for the industry. So that's kind of a good overview of Billy and what he's up to.
Well, I'm gonna throw some more. I'm gonna throw some more dice at that real quick. Billy's? I want to take and use this as an example. Is that here we are as competitors with products, but I've never looked at Billy like that. I don't think he's ever looked at me like that. We look at each other as friends. But let me tell you how I look at this dude. First off, I just said the key word, friend. Is that if Billy's got your back, he's a friend for life, and he's a fine example of that in the industry. This guy's a patriot. This guy's, Marine, served his country. He is dedicated to our industry. I just, the dude, the energy that he puts out. I've been a huge fan of his, before I even met him. And, if you don't have eyes on him, get eyes on him. But I'm really, really happy to have somebody I consider a good friend on the program. So, Billy, welcome.
Thanks, Renny. The feeling's mutual. And Chris left out the fact that I'm actually still in my 20s.
Oh, I forgot. You're right.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it's so Billy, introduce yourself, and for those that don't know you, and tell them, we kind of bragged about the high points, but you got a lovely wife. You're when we came on before the program, you're what you called it. I just came on and I said, I had to move to the snake room. So we got to get into that conversation, but you're up, buddy.
Yeah, well, obviously my name is Billy Baugus, owner of American Detail Garage, and I'm just a regular dude, man, just like everybody else. I put my pants on just like anybody else does, one leg at a time. I'm married. We will be 20 years in July, 20 years together, and she will tell you, if she was in here right now, that it's not been an easy ride. And a lot of the things that I talk about and do within the group and in person and trainings I talk and teach is about, putting values on things more than just the car that you're looking at, because I made that mistake. It's a wonder we've made it 20 years, but it has not been an easy ride along the way. with American Detailer Garage, really my focus is chemicals being a secondary component of that, but primary component is just building people. And we're real proud of that. I do like guns, snakes. I love America. I love the freedom that it brings. I come from a pretty rough background. Life wasn't always easy, but it's the land of opportunity, and it's allowed me to go from a nobody, really, competing in a Golden Field Day, like a Special Olympics type thing when I was younger. Special education, you name it, man. It's just been a run of the mill, but the land of opportunity gave me an opportunity, and I stepped up to the plate, and I swing every day, Renny. Just try to get it done.
I'll tell you, well, that's, a tie-in that we've got is, I came out of the special education program also, came out of a rough little town. I was a minority, never really felt like a minority. I just thought people just got their ass kicked all the time. Seriously, I never felt that. It was a very small percentage of the people that were assholes. The rest of us were just trying to get through life, and we had fun. Even getting your ass whipped is even some of the guys when they turn around, they're involved in gangs or whatever. But when their friends weren't watching, we were buddies, and I kind of understood that because they're pressured. But I want to take and talk to anybody. Billy, let's you and I have a discussion. Woo, I'm going to get emotional. If you're an underdog, these are two dudes that made it. And what do you mean by making it? We're happy.
Oh, yeah.
What's making it? We're happy. So if people have told you during your life that, you're going to amount to nothing, or you're telling yourself that, don't listen. Because here's a couple dudes that came up the hard way that, have we made it? In my book, we have. I don't care what other people think. I was told I was going to be a nothing my whole life. Billy?
Yeah, similar situation, and I've always had a on and off relationship with my dad and my mom. And, the relationship with my mom over the years has gotten better. She's actually the one person in my family that always told me, just chase your dreams, go after them. But most everybody else in life, you're not going to become anything or this, and maybe this wasn't for you, or maybe you should maybe you should get a blue collar union job or something like that. And then Renny, I've gone through the job force, in and out of a job. My wife will tell you, you've had a lot of jobs. I just always got bored with them. But the thing is, and I didn't really discover this until a few years back, is the reason it was just like trying to put a left shoe on a right foot. It just wasn't going to work. It wasn't going to fit. I think God created us with certain things. And when you align yourself, your life, and your heart with what you were supposed to do, magical things happen. And the way we think is not the way the special ed teacher thought. It's not the way the guidance counselor thought. It's not the way all your friends and your friends' parents thought. It's just a different way of thinking. And abnormal means above normal.
Nah, that's it. A word was used against me that you can't even use anymore. And literally, my grandma was told by the counselor I was retarded, and that I'd probably never amount to anything. And just the opposite. They just didn't know what ADD was, in my school district, and I had ADD. Thank God they didn't know, because they would have put me on meds, and then I would have really been screwed up, But we get through it, man. So, hey, let's talk a little bit about detailing. How'd you start out? We heard detailing for fellow Marines. You served our country. So go into that kind of story. How'd you get into it?
Yeah, just a regular dude, man. I really came from not a lot. So when I was in the Marine Corps, I got my first truck was a 95 Dodge Dakota. I was like 2 years old at the time. And I love this truck. It was emerald green metallic, and I wax it and make it look good. And I really took pride in it because obviously I bought it, had to pay for it. And other people took notice of how good my truck looked. Truck always looked good, just like a lot of people listen to this podcast, same way. I started doing their vehicles, but I always had an eye for detail. So me and my roommate, we would press out camis, press out covers for Marines for inspection. We just had that extra eye, I guess, that one thing like I was talking about. So it branched from that, and I started doing some work. Didn't really know what I was doing, just washing and waxing cars. And I just had that extra eye of attention to detail. And that's really how I got started. Got out of the Marine Corps, came home. I didn't know what I wanted to do. That fuse hadn't been lit yet. I knew I enjoyed doing it. But again, going back to believing what people tell you, that's not what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to go get a job, save money, 401k. You're supposed to do all those things. So I come out of the Marine Corps, I ended up, washing cars in a dealership. That's kind of how it all started.
Wow. I heard something interesting is that, I think that a lot of us, I don't care what generation you're in, we're kind of sold that bill, go get a job, go get a career, go to school, go to the military, whatever it was, and just be happy. And that's pretty normal, right? And I found out that I belong to this group, and one of the founders of the group said something amazing. a couple weeks ago, and it says normal's broke, weird is wealthy. And I just love that because it wasn't typical. And, we had Dave, which I call a buddy now, a friend, was here at the last training. He's an attorney. I mean, he's an attorney, right? He's reached it, right? And guess what he's doing? Started a detailing company up. He's following his passion versus, going what you're supposed to do, And I'm surprised. I can't really see and this isn't a slam. This is actually a comp. I can't see you doing what you're supposed to do. I just can't see that, Billy. Kind of, were you a conforming kind of guy at one point in your life, or not really? You always kind of fought it.
I mean, I think there's a thing called fulfillment, and it's something that nobody ever really taught me was fulfillment. What does fulfillment mean? And when I talk to people, I'll say something, and most people will understand that hear somebody say something, but there's really no soul behind the word. So fulfillment to me, I've met people who were wealthy, who were miserable. I've met people who didn't have a lot of money, didn't have a lot of anything, but they had a whole lot of desire. And there was a reason why they had desire, even in the lack of having money, is there was fulfillment in what they do. And I think if you follow the path of fulfillment, it leads to money, things, other things. But even when you do make it successful, people will tell you it's not the money, it's not the house, it's not the cars that make me get up every day. It's having a passion and a purpose and fulfillment ultimately to what I want to do. And that was, I had these questions like, why couldn't I keep a job? How come I don't like my boss? How come we get into it? How come I'm always that guy? Billy was always that guy. I got to be that one guy. Put me in a line of 10 people and I'm the proverbial Johnny, that's me. And the reason being is I just didn't fit in. I was square peg in a round hole. And the one thing that was lacking was fulfillment. Once I found that, I've been on fire ever since. And I love getting up every day and doing what we do.
I had a boss at a very young age. I sold my first detailing company. I went to work for a company for 5 minutes, and I realized I had to get back into business again. And I remember it was for a company that worked with medical records, right? And I remember my second week, they trained me for a week. I'm out in the field. I'm back in the office. And I remember the boss coming up to me, and we're sitting in a staff meeting, and I'm supposed to be quiet, right? Well, I'm spitting stuff out. So he pulls me aside and he goes, Renny, I don't think this job's for you. And I said, why? And he goes, because you want to run it. And he says, I'm the boss. And he says, and he was an older dude. He's probably my age, what I am now. And he goes, I'll be honest, you're probably smarter than I am. And he says, you probably deserve to run this company, but I can't let you do that. And he says, you need to go back to being self-employed because you're going to drive people crazy. And that was it was one of the coolest conversations I ever had, because it made me realize really quickly not to try that too hard, not to try to go into corporate America. And because I just was not, to your point, square peg round hole. He helped me realize that wasn't going to be a good fit. And it was awakening. So tell us.
Hey, I just throw in there real quick. Kevin Davis is on. He just says, good job, Billy. He's excited for your success.
Actually, I found my helper belt the other day. I haven't seen that thing in a while. I just found it the other day. I thought about him. So thanks, Kevin.
Yeah, we talked. Well, there's another guy. I remember when Kevin Davis popped up on the scene, and he was kind of another game changer, because boy, he brought a marketing angle to detailing that we really hadn't seen, and it's pretty refreshing. And talk about a great family, and great people. So, hey, tell us where are we today, industry wise, compared to your early years? What do you see in the industry that you just didn't see years past?
Formal education. I see a lot of trainings popping up everywhere. Formal education. We didn't really have that back then. If you think about it, I came up in the body shop, production shops. You were just a cog in a wheel. Just a little cog in a wheel. Get back there, not a real well lit area, and get to work, degrease that car. Nowadays, you have people coming into the industry have more of an opportunity to be successful than ever before. There's formal trainings. Literally, there's an abundance of trainings, and I think it's important. Let me talk about that for a second, because people say, "Well, I don't need to go to a training." I can tell you, as somebody who has a Facebook group and a company, when I train you in person, I'm going to tell you and teach you things that I don't post online for reasons, just for reasons. If you follow online influencers, how do you know the online influencer even knows what they're talking about? How do you know that they can get the results? Maybe they can, maybe they can't. But when you come and train one-on-one or 10 to 1 or whatever in a training atmosphere where you're there in the present, then you really get to see the hands-on side of things as well as the personal side of things. So I think that's a big thing that's made a difference, aside from the obvious changing up braces, machines, pads, all that's changed quite a bit.
I'll tell you just hit on something. Our training, how far out are we booked out right now, Chris? 5 months?
I'm booking into November right now. So what is that, 6 months or something?
Yeah. So Billy, to the point is that we're getting a whole nother level, and I want you guys. I'm going to speak to somebody. Billy just called you out. The people that I don't need training. Let me tell you, we're getting a whole nother level of detail. I just mentioned an attorney coming in. We're getting very seasoned entrepreneurs coming into this industry, and you better wake up, or you're going to get your ass whipped. Now, I'm not talking about college degrees. I don't give a shit. That doesn't matter. I'm talking entrepreneur skills, because you know what? As Billy said, I can bring you guys in here. We're working with a group right now. I can teach you to be the biggest, baddest mofo in the world skill-wise. But if I can't instill in you the importance of becoming an entrepreneur, I failed, because you're going to fail. If you're not an entrepreneur above all else, your skills are only going to take you so far. And at some point, you're going to start getting older. You're going to take and want money. You're going to need money. And at some point, you're not going to be able to work anymore. And you're going to wish that you had taken and made those millions versus going online and bragging about the shit that you can do. So well said, Billy. I'm glad you brought that up. So you're at, I'll never forget this oh man, does this seem like a different world? That last Mobile Tech we're at down in Florida. And you and I just felt we connected at a whole different level during that event. You know, we had you up on the stage with us doing, podcasts with some industry, badasses, some great people, the industry. You're at all these events. How important are events to you and your brand and to detailers, and why?
Well, I can really relate to that, because there was a time when I was looking online. I'm like, well, I just don't think it's important to go to these events, blah, blah, blah. And sometimes they would live stream. The importance of going to the events is you get the opportunity to network. You get to meet people. You get to put a face to the name of the people that you see online. And you never know what opportunity might pop up for you when again, this goes back to everything in person. When you meet people in person, is a lot different than talking to them, online in a Facebook forum. It's a lot different. So you never know what kind of networking opportunities might pop up. And people would rather do business with people they know, the personality, they've hung out with them, maybe they drink a beer with them or they talk to them, rather than spend money with something just on the label. So I think those are two things that really stick out to me in terms of what you can't get online that gives you the real experience being there in person.
Amen, man. The camaraderie, I'm going to tell you right now, is, I'm sitting in front of two people. That matter of fact, you guys come up here for a second. Come on, get on my shoulder real quick. That I met at events and that are involved in our group, that are Mafia. They're actually here mentoring our training students right now. So kneel down, introduce yourselves real quick.
Yasir Wakar, Red Clay Detailing.
There you go. Right on.
Out of Atlanta.
Bobby, we're going to look like two D cups, if we bring our heads together.
Bobby Weiner, I have Finer Details in Long Branch, New Jersey.
So let me tell you, these guys will understand the importance of, they're going to back up what Billy said. The importance of relationships is that these guys are not just allies. Billy's not just an ally in the industry. They become friends. And when you build that up, let me tell you, is that this guy and this guy have made me more successful just knowing him. Billy's the same way, because I pick up traits of everybody I come in contact with. Even if you're an a-hole and I don't like you, that might be the trait I use. But in this case with Billy, his personality is warmth. This guy's, you came training 11 years ago, right? 10 years ago.
10 years ago.
2016.
Yeah, so 5 years ago. So, the value of friendships in this industry, and to see these guys come in and work with you guys, is they've been in your shoes before. Does that make sense? They're going to be able to take, and they've gone places you haven't gone quite yet, and they're going to help you excel and go faster. Is when you go to these events, Billy, would you agree? It excels your business and your growth.
Oh, it does, because business and growth isn't just in the shop. It's in your mental mind. When you get to meet people and then maybe a different perspective on things, everything. If you come out of the detailing business and you decide that you like business, I'm an entrepreneur, you go into a real estate or a hot dog stand or a hair care, a tire. So many of these same rules apply when you start talking to people who are real, business rock stars. It's going to do a mind shift, and that's what it's done for me. And you really put your eye on a different prize than what you actually thought was. 100%.
Yeah, I love it. So, hey guys, this is a halftime show real quick. This is where we pay the bills. Of course, PNS, we want to thank them. But Billy, you're on. Thanks for sponsoring today's program. So, I got some notes here. Chris, you got some notes here, right? American Detail Garage, F-Bomb multi-purpose cleaner. It's everywhere, all over the industry. Wipe out, rinse and wash. Christy, a friend of ours, She's using yours with Icon. If you
Yeah,
guys aren't familiar with Icon.
I watch what she does with the Icon stuff. A lot of undercarriage cleaning on those things, right? And it's amazing. The other day, she's like telling me that a lot of times she's on just a creeper under there cleaning those things. But every time she's working on those, she's always talking about using F-bomb on there, and the results look amazing. So she's doing something right, and so is the product, I think.
Yeah. So I mean, Billy, thanks for getting in, being here. So takeaways. All right, man. Looking down into Billy's crystal ball. Let's talk about your crystal ball. Look down in there. Where's the detailing industry headed as entrepreneurs and in regards to products?
Well, I think we touched on it a little bit ago. I think the industry going forward is going to develop more into entrepreneurs. Joe Rogan said one time, there's no better time than the present to grow into who you were meant to be, who you should be. At any given time, you can listen to a podcast, you get motivated, get inspired to learn things. And I think the modern guys coming into the industry and the guys that are in the industry now transforming their mind are going to look at things more from an entrepreneur, from a business standpoint. So I think I see shops scaling in terms of what they do, ceramic coatings, paint protection film. They're no longer the Craigslist detailer. I think successful detailers are redefining what auto detailing is and bringing it to another level. And I also see shops going to start doing retail sales. I see PNSs in some of these shops. Some of our products are in some of these shops. Hey, instead of scrubbing carpets, why don't we just retail product? It's what business owners do. That's what we do. And so I think I see that. In terms of chemicals, I think technology continues to advance. And I think as a product manufacturer, we have to supply a demand. And I think detailers are going to come out there and they're going to want to perform at a higher level. And we have, if we look back over the last 20 years as products and product manufacturers, it's our job to advance what we're doing to meet the demands of what the market is going to have out there, wherever that goes. 20 years ago, we'd have never dreamed we're talking about ceramic coatings, industrial coatings.
No, look what's changed. I mean, just the coating industry. And then, you get companies that we talked about earlier today or this week is that you can't really be a detail shop. You got to be a marketing company. Is that you look at Rupes. What has Rupes done? We all talked about it being a tool company, but in reality, Rupes is a really brilliantly ran marketing company. Ceramic Pro, really brilliantly ran, marketing company. Is that the best book on Amazon is not the best written book with the best structure with the best information. It's the best marketed book on Amazon, and so you got to make yourself the best. You got to be good. You got to be about what you preach, but you got to be out there marketing it the right way to the right people. And so I like that. So how's things going with your company? A lot of growth from the outside looking in. The last year's been pretty tremendous. You've got some interesting things that have happened to you recently. Pretty exciting, right?
Yeah, we've grown. 2020 was a weird year. I almost died in 2020. I don't know if anybody knew that, but yeah, I was in a hospital for a week with acute diverticulitis with septum. Basically, my insides were starting to rupture. I had a infection. They were starting to rupture. I was in a hospital for a week. And I came out of there, and that's when I started really thinking about things, because we're not promised tomorrow. But 2020 as a business, we did pretty well. We grew over 19, and I think 21 we're going to do better than 20. And it's been 6 months of setbacks, just hardcore setbacks. And I've learned, I think now that just staying in the fight, showing up every day, and giving 100%, no matter what flies at you, is what's going to be the determining factor going in 21, 22, and as the years to come. But yeah, the growth has been great for us.
That's awesome. So one piece of advice, if you could take and somebody, it doesn't matter if they're brand new, doesn't matter if they're seasoned, maybe they've been in the seat for a while and they're getting a little stale. Maybe they're just coming into this and they've got a career and they're doing this part-time. Maybe they're struggling today. Maybe they're growing and their ego's out of control. But what piece of advice would you like to give people that are listening right now?
Passion and purpose, the 2 U's. I call it the 2 U's. I think God created us with certain gifts and talents, abilities, things, that we were meant to do. Whenever you meet resistance in life, does life happen to you or does life happen for you? I think God created us with all these gifts and talents and laid our life out, a plan for our life to be somebody, whatever it is. So the 2 U's is the person you developed into And what if you died and went to heaven, right? And you get to meet you as you go up to heaven and meet the person you were supposed to be. What would the gap be like between what God intended for your life and what you developed your life into? What would be the gap between the two? I think if there's anything else, whether younger or older, if we could think about that for a second, what was God's plan for our life and what did we make of our own plan? And if you could meet your twin when that day comes, how much gap would there be between who you are and who you could have been?
I like that. I'll speak from my own point, is that when I was young, I had I was on track. I really was. I had the right work mentality. I worked hard, but I played hard. And then in my middle ages, in my 30s and 40s, I screwed that all up. I screwed up the trajectory of who I was supposed to be because I started chasing things I wasn't supposed to chase. And I started letting, stinking thinking come into my mind. I let some people enter my mind that got me sour. I'm making up that gap right now, but it was the Grand Canyon for a bit. I got off base, man. And I'm glad to see the original me. I think the 20-something-year-old me is finally smiling again. I think the 10-year-old's still pushing me pretty hard. You're still screwed up, dude, but you can get there. You can get there. So I think those are wise words, my friend. I really enjoy them. So, hey, how can people contact you? What's the best way to interact with you?
You can shoot me a message on Messenger. It's probably the slowest way, to be honest with you, but you can reach out to me on Facebook, Billy Baugus, or American Detailer Garage, our business page. We got a Facebook group. You can email me, Billy at AmericanDetailerGarage.com. I'm not gonna throw my phone number out there, but it's out there. So I try to respond as fast as I can. Renny, you know how it is. We get an influx of messages and phone calls, and it's literally, you got to prioritize things and get to them as soon as you can. But that's the best way to get a hold of me.
Yeah, I'll tell you, it's, I tell people the worst way to get a hold of me is on Messenger, because I get like 100 a day, and I won't get your message unless I happen to just look down. It's literally 100, 150 a day. And how can you keep up with that? You just can't do it. I'd love to, but I don't even task Chris to even look at it because it's like, he won't.
I can't keep up with it either.
No,
it'll derail your day. It's going to derail your day.
No, it will. And so, email a lot of times, I think anytime you're trying, let me tell you this, anytime you're trying to get a hold of somebody in the industry, email them, man. It's rare that I don't look at my emails, and people aren't utilizing that simple form of communications as much, we get multiple sets of eyes on it, that way. But you got to be real. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about respect to people in the industry. First off, if you're buying into our brands, we want to thank you. It's really important. But second off is, communications has been tough with all these different companies. Everybody, I'm gonna defend everybody in the industry. Is if you're trying to get a hold of a manufacturer or somebody in the industry, is that you got to know that if you are, a lot of people are, and so try to go the river, the avenue that is going to allow them to be successful at responding back to you. And if you don't do that, don't get upset at them. Is everybody's really cranked right now. As a supplier, you've got raw products that are a real issue right now, even finding bottles and caps and this and that. Manufacturers are really stressed. So be patient with all of the people that are supplying us right now, because it's a really, really, it's an interesting time. And so just be patient. I hear a lot of people, I don't check into Facebook much anymore. I got to get back into it and have the right mindset, but it kind of tore me down a little bit. I decided to back off for a few months, but I see on the forums and stuff like that, a lot of people taking shots at manufacturers for different reasons. Man, dude, you got to look at it from the eyes of these manufacturers. They're doing everything they can to keep up with this.
That's a six-ring circus.
It is. It really is. So, well, hey, guys, we want to thank you for tuning in. Make sure to make a comment. Make sure to share this if you really like it. Billy's a great guy. What a great message. So make sure that we hear from you, and subscribe to us also on YouTube. And we love to have you involved. Billy, thanks for coming on. It's always a joy to talk with you.
Before you go real quick, we didn't talk much about the snake room. I need to know more about the snake room.
Yeah, I think we got to, because, how many damn snakes do you have?
We upped one last week. We're at 26.
26. And you know where they all are at any given moment?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they're all, they're They're all over the place. I've got one that they were the place was going to put down because it was mean, and I love animals, and I'm like, well, don't put him down. I'll bring him home and try to tame him down. And if I don't tame him down, then I'll just feed him. But yeah, I mean, we're going to get into some breeding probably in another year and a half, maybe. I'm either going to try that or I'm going to get rid of everything because I don't believe in dabbling. But I've always had a passion for the little. Yeah, they're not what people think they are. I've got them big, small, all kinds of different colors.
Yeah, poisonous snakes.
Got a copperhead right there.
What is it?
Copperhead.
It's a copperhead? You got a copperhead in your house? Oh, hell no. No, let me tell you, all the years of search and rescue, I've come across a lot of rattlesnakes. We got Mojave Greens right on the other side of the mountain from here. So if you know those little boogers, they're pretty aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
I respect snakes. I try not to ever hurt them in the wild. I've only had to take one out that it was a Mojave Green that it got me cornered. But usually they're pretty cool. I love to see them and so forth. But I would not have a copperhead in my damn house.
You guys have the worst of them out there out west. I can hold him. I can actually hold him.
What? Oh, hell no.
Yeah.
You hold a copperhead? No, man, dude. Man, I'm going to have to sit and pee for the rest of the day now because that just.
I'm doing it on a regular basis. But I have had him out and held him before.
Holy crap, dude. Well, hey, I do have one final request before we end. I want to come out to your place and do some videos with you. But more, I want to shoot some of the crap that you've got because we can't have it in Commie, California. And so I'd like to come out there and pew with you a little bit,
Renny, it's like golf for men. It's fun. It's just relaxing.
Oh, amen, man. Amen. All right, guys. Well, hey, man, again, Billy, thanks a lot. Go check him out. If you're not following him on social media, make sure to do so. He's one of the gentlemen in the industry. Always like being around you, buddy. Miss you. Can't wait to hang out again. So, hey, have a powerful rest of the week. Have some fun this weekend. And we'll if you got any guests that you'd like to see on, make sure to send us an email, Renny or Chris at detailingsuccess.com. We will see you guys next time. Chris, nice shirt. We'll see you soon.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.
See ya.